sleep quality during that second half of your menstrual cycle is significantly lowered. Now, a disrupted circadian rhythm, which is essentially what is happening in that second half of your menstrual cycle, essentially leads to negative cortisol surges. Cortisol is meant to rise in the morning, so that's a positive surge in the morning, and it's meant to peak around midday. And so what happens is during the second half of your menstrual cycle, you end up having more negative surges after it's peaked. One of the reasons why women have a hard time falling asleep and remaining asleep. So why is this a problem? It's because during sleep, this is where we do all our cell regeneration, repair, and healing. So let's briefly discuss how this happens. Pregnolone is a steroid hormone that's synthesized from cholesterol, right? And it serves as a precursor to things like cortisol, but it also serves as a precursor to estrogen, progesterone, androgens. So if stress isn't managed in the second half of your menstrual cycle, right, when the body is already under a lot of stress, pregnolone will prioritize cortisol production and it will make less estrogen, less progesterone. When your stress in your period is late, it's because that pregnolone can't be used to make the hormones necessary for your period. It's prioritizing cortisol production because of the stress. Estrogen triggers ovulation, and then progesterone assists in building the womb, the lining, to support an embryo. And this happens every month, regardless of whether the egg is fertilized or not. If you're prioritizing stress because you're wanting to be consistent and neglect the body, the female body, it will essentially lose function. Also known as the pregnolone steal. So under stress, more pregnolone is diverted towards cortisol production rather than it being synthesized for other things like estrogen, like progesterone, that would make you ovulate, that would start building the uterus for a fertilized egg, and if not fertilized, that would allow you to then menstruate. And this doesn't just happen in the adrenals, this also happens in the ovaries. Estrogen doesn't just regulate sexual function, it regulates more than reproductive health. It regulates cardiovascular, brain, gut, skin, bone. It is the master regulator of health. And so if we're directing more of that pregnolone towards cortisol, then so many other biomarkers of health are going to be lowered. Women's health is cyclical, so make sure you like, subscribe, and share so that gender differences can become more pronounced.